At Gigi Rosso Winery, we complete our portfolio with two Grappas. Now, in the world of spirits, Grappa has its own place and it's absolutely Italian, has a totally Italian identity. Grappa is the Italian distilled product. In other countries, people prefer to distill wine or grain, but in Italy, we still distill the leftover from vinification, the skins and the seeds of the grapes after fermentation. So it is important to clarify that Grappa is not distilled from wine, but only and exclusively from the skins and the seeds of the grapes themselves after they've been used for the fermentation. Until the 1970s, people did not pay much attention to different types of Grappa. Grappa was just one generic spirit. But then we realized that Grappa becomes much more interesting and it tastes much better if we distilled each single grape type separately. This is what we call monovitigno, so monovarietal Grappa. Grappa made from one single grape varietal. The grape grower cannot distill his own Grappa, this is against the law, but we can deliver the vinaccia to a nearby distillery and have it distilled on our behalf. In our case, we chose to have two different Grappas that are both interesting for different reasons. Grappa di Moscato that retains some of the softness and the aromatic elements of the Moscato grapes, and Grappa di Barolo, which on the contrary is very dry and strong. In September and October, soon after the fermentation, we separate the wine from its own skins and seeds, so the pomace of the grapes. This material is still wet, so we need to press it in the press machine to get rid of all the liquid. And when we have the dry leftover material, we can deliver it to the distillery. The distillery will process it in a double bath cooking in order to extract the steam, the vapor that contains ethanol, a lot of alcohol, together with the aromatic elements. It needs to be purified from the methanol, which is the alcohol that we don't want, and at the end of the process, we will have Grappa di Moscato at 40% alcohol and Grappa di Barolo at 45% alcohol content. So the production method is the same, but there is a fundamental difference between these two Grappas. Grappa di Moscato is young, doesn't need any aging. Grappa di Barolo is aged in small casks, in barrels, for 3 years, just as long as a Barolo wine. The color is very similar. Both show a light straw yellow, just a little bit darker for Moscato. But at the bouquet, they begin to differentiate one from the other. The Grappa di Moscato still shows some fruity elements, like pears and apricot, but mostly it's herbal. So I sent herbs, particular green tea and chamomile, aromatic herbs. While the Grappa di Barolo, definitely drier, there's more hay and straw, so dried vegetables. But also alpine herbs, the smell that you have in the mountains when you smell the pine trees in the mountains. This is very nice. And I would say that it's more poignant, it's stronger and more persistent, it lasts longer in your nose. Well, first of all, the warmth of the alcohol really coats one's palate, but also there's still fruity elements, in particular apricots are there. What's distinctive of Grappa di Moscato is a taste of honey. There's a certain sweetness that reminds you of honey, and this is very specific of Grappa di Moscato. It's gentle, it's smooth, strong obviously, but it has its own softness all the way through. Let's see the difference in Grappa di Barolo. The first sensation of alcohol is even stronger, really fiery. It ignites the power of the Grappa di Barolo. And then you start to appreciate the finesse, the quality that is not fruity anymore, but it has more of a nutty flavor and also some notes from the oak. Nice oak flavors, make it a little bit rounder. So it's even stronger, deeper, more sophisticated, in a general picture of a very traditional dry grappa, which is what we expect from Grappa di Barolo. They're very different from one another, but they certainly represent our tradition of drinking grappa as an after-dinner shot. Normally, this is how we drink it in Italy, but although you can also combine it with dessert, and in my personal opinion, you can very well combine it with dark chocolate. As you know, dark chocolate is very difficult to pair with any wine. Normally, it's impossible to pair with wine. Well, you can very well pair it with grappa. In any case, the beauty of grappa is that we have a shot of grappa at the end of the dinner, when everybody is ready to go. The last shot is grappa, and it's a way of saying goodbye and sharing it with friends.